What's a secret that would make you the villain in someone's eyes if they found out? Maggie and I had been best friends since middle school, through marriages, kids, and everything in between. I thought the biggest heartbreak of my life would come after learning she had cancer and only had a month to live. Seeing her on the hospital bed with tubes and in the hospital gown was never easy, but I knew she needed me by her side. I'd hold her hand and talk to her, and ignore how skinny she was or the dark eye bags under eyes. Despite all that, she still looked like Maggie and was still cracking jokes. As Maggie's death drew near, she'd start recalling old memories. It felt safe, until she looked me straight in the eye one day and said, "Diane, I need to tell you something before I go." I thought she was going to confess that she actually did have a crush on the football star despite denying it for years, or something about an old fight we never resolved. But her voice suddenly changed and she got serious. Nothing could have prepared me for her confession being, "I switched our babies." 30 years ago, Maggie and I gave birth at the very same time. We both had daughters. Hers was named Isabella, and mine was Eva. But Maggie continued, "At the hospital, you had Isabella, and I had Eva. I switched their ID bands when no one was looking. Diane, I raised your daughter, and you raised mine." I remember sitting there staring at her as if she had just spoken another language. My ears were just ringing. I didn't say anything, and she took that as an invitation to keep going. She admitted the guilt had been eating at her and she couldn't deal with it anymore. I asked her why. It was the only thing I could muster. She said she had this wave of panic after giving birth and convinced herself it was the right thing to do, that she thought she was protecting them. I wanted to yell and be mean, but she looked so small in that bed. So I just sat there and listened. After I left, I couldn't stop thinking about it. Every little moment with Eva replayed in my head. Her first day of kindergarten, the way she always stayed calm in a crisis, how she'd become a pediatric nurse like she was born to take care of others. Isabella was different. She was sharp-tongued, rebellious, and always kept a distance from her mom. I started to question reality, trying to come to terms with the fact my whole life was a lie. I went as far as pulling out baby photos. I looked at Isabella's face next to my late husband's and felt my stomach drop as I realized the resemblance was uncanny. It felt like my mind was playing tricks on me, so I ordered DNA tests, and I didn't tell anyone as I waited for the results to arrive. A week had passed and an email about the DNA results came through. I sat at the kitchen table and stared at the subject line for an hour before opening it. And just like Maggie said, it was true. Eva wasn't mine by blood. Isabella was. I felt like the floor dropped out from under me. I knew I couldn't tell either of them right away. I thought about keeping it a secret, but I didn't think I could keep this from them, especially since Maggie said the guilt had eaten away at her. I decided to pay her a visit since I hadn't gone back to the hospital since she told me. She still looked weak as ever, and she forced a smile when she saw me. I asked her again why she waited so long to tell me. We've spent holidays together, vacationed often. We practically raised our daughters like best friends from how much time we spent together. There were so many instances where she could have told me. So I asked her, "Why now? Why on your deathbed?" Maggie kept a smile, though it never reached her eyes. She said it was because she knew I would react this way. She knew that if she had told me when she was still healthy, I'd cut all ties to her and she'd lose decades of friendship over a stupid mistake, one she thought would never catch up to her. Maggie was right. Had she told me this way earlier, I would have dumped her as a friend for good. She said she saw my reaction when she told her, how I wanted to yell at her, but seeing her weak and sick prevented me from doing so. Maggie said her cancer was an opportunity for me to know the truth, because she'd live out her dying days knowing that I knew what happened, and she would still have me as a friend. Maggie was sure I wouldn't drop her as a friend now, and nothing in me would have done so either. I was her best friend. She was dying. She needed me. But that didn't mean we would both be taking her secret to the grave. Isabella and Eva deserve to know the truth. The full story is on my channel and linked below.